So, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. Okay, so what inspired this was a video I did on ORUN, explaining ORUN in the Yoruba cosmology, what it actually means, as opposed to what people think it means. And I had it not in mind then that I was going to, be painting until you told me that this thing you have said, make it visual, express it visually, and that was what led to this. And anyway, we're going to get into all of that. But first of all, please, I'd like us to meet this Bami seated beside me here.
Okay, so my name is Ladi Okuneye, and I think for the context of this conversation, it's difficult to even figure out how to describe myself, but I think I'll talk more about the context of this particular conversation. I have always been extremely fascinated with spirituality, religion, the intersection between those things. I had a thought. I was like, well, you know what? Maybe what I need to do is collect religious art. And so I just had that thought, and I left it there. And then I have another friend that I'd been having constant conversations with about our traditional deities versus Christianity. I'm a Christian by faith, and I'm very, very passionate about my religion. Albeit I'll say a lot of my views, some might consider a little bit more non-traditional. So I have this friend that I've always had these conversations with regarding the way we view our local spirituality versus how easily we accept spirituality from the Western world. And I've always felt like there were similarities and connections and things of that nature, because for me, ultimately, it's about the human experience. And I'm just one of those people that I don't feel like the human experience has changed that much over the centuries, right? I have always felt like the things, even when people are, should I say, having an experience with divinity, even if one person is having an experience in divinity in one corner of the world, it doesn't mean another person is not having an experience with divinity in another corner of the world. We just end up calling it different things. So I've always had those kind of thoughts, rummaging around in my head. And I have always felt like there's a lot more similarities between our faiths and our religions than the differences. And I've always felt like you should be able to affirm truth anywhere that you see it or that you find it. Now that brings me to this, right? So I run across the video you created and posted on social media where you were talking about the meaning of ORUN and how it speaks more to a present reality, and I'll let you talk more about that. It speaks more to a present reality. It speaks more to a connection to our source of being, and it's even an experience we're having here on Earth versus an experience we have to go and have somewhere else. And the reason that hit me like a ton of bricks was because that's actually what I believe about heaven, even from the Christian sense and from the Christian point of view. I know that the traditional Christian point of view about heaven is it's a place you go when you die. It is tied to things like judgment. If you don't do certain things the right way, you do not have an opportunity to enter heaven. There seems to be, it seems to be this, it needs to be based on actions that you need to take and things of that nature.
Merited.
Thank you. And I'd always had questions. These are always things I pushed back against. And I'd also found other Christian scholars who shared my views and my perspective, and I'd learned a lot from them. So I was already pretty, should I say, set in my own personal views of what heaven from a Christian perspective is. I've always seen heaven as a reality that starts from here. I've always seen heaven as something that we get to participate in. It's a way we get to participate with God, even on earth.
The Bible does say that our citizenship is of heaven.
Yes.
So we are citizens of heaven, even according to Christianity.
Exactly. So for me, in a very, very practical sense, I've always believed that there, even here on earth, there's heaven on earth. The same way people are, we even also in Christianity, we always talk about hell. There's people living in hell on earth here, right? And you can actually bring heaven to earth for people who are living in hell on earth. Every time you lift someone out of despair, you are lifting them out of hell on earth by bringing heaven to earth for them.
And look at this man here.
Yeah.
You can see, so even from this, we can, because there is this popular expression in Christianity, open heaven.
Yes.
And that is, one of the things we can see here.
Yes.
This man is experiencing ORUN.
Yes.
So it is not a faraway experience from him. He's not waiting.
Yes.
He's right there.
Yes.
And his arms are wide, spread wide, and he's seeing it.
Yes.
So this is Ori.
Yes.
Ile Ori.
Yes.
And then Omi Onsun. So we can say Orisun. And then we have the firmament, we have nature, and then there is humanity experiencing all of it.
Yes.
And that is what I have to thank you very much, because I had nothing like this in mind when I thought of it. It was just me saying something I've always wanted to say. I didn't expect that I was going to be representing it visually like this. And seeing this, I'm jealous of you right now.
So so the irony is, there's this common phrase, a match made in heaven. And here we are, we were able to, you did majority of the work, but we were able to create a connection to create something about ORUN, about heaven. And there's this phrase, a match made in heaven. I feel like this is what this is, because I came from a particular perspective. What drew me to your work, and even what you spoke about in that video, was me realizing that, wow, here are these similarities between our perspective of ORUN in Yoruba and my perspective, even as a Christian. And for me, what it actually did was it further reinforced a lot of things that I believed. And one of those things that I believed was that there's never been anything wrong with our local culture, our local religions. So we need to not buy into that stereotype
of demonization.
Of that stereotype of, okay, so all other religions are here and our local religions are here. You look in other cultures, they don't allow that. They don't allow that. Even with the advent of Western religion that spread to the rest of the world, in other cultures, they don't allow that. And I always wondered why we allow that within our own cultures. And this is me even speaking as a Christian. I remain a Christian. But I've always believed that there's things, even from our history, our local culture, our local perspectives on religion, that you can borrow from, that are similar. You affirm truth anywhere that you see it. And this was a truth that I had started to believe in, and it's great to be able to actually see it expressed within our local cultures. And sorry, just the last point that I wanted to make was that I personally appreciate you and the work that you are doing in terms of introducing us to our culture the way that you do. And that's what originally even drew me to you and to the work that you're doing. So I just feel like it's exciting times. And when we talk about the risk and the fear of losing our culture, it's work like what you're doing. It's collaborations like what we've been able to do here that will actually keep things alive. So I'm truly excited for not just this piece, but even other things that I know that we're going to do together.
And for the record, what can you say about the process of the work?
Yeah, the process of the work for me personally, it was amazing. It's been absolutely amazing working with you. It started with me just responding to you to say, hey, look, this thing you just talked about, I actually believe in this as well, and I'd love to create a piece of art that actually captures that. And I didn't know where to start. I just said, look, I'd like to collaborate with you on this. So you just throw me ideas, and then we started to bounce the ideas back and forth. There were moments where I was like, you know what, there's something that I feel like it's missing, or there's something that I feel like we need to capture, and you're always open to that, and that much I also appreciate, because I know that artists can be very
Rigid.
protective of, and rigid
Yes.
when it comes to their work. But for me, that was also the beauty of this process. It wasn't me coming to you to say, okay, well, just we were creating something around what we both believe.
Yes.
And when you believe something, it's not about you being married specifically to what you believe. You always have to be open to other people's interpretations and points of view of that thing that you believe and how it needs to be expressed. And I think that's also one of the things that made it easy to work together on the process. The actual subject matter we were dealing with. We're dealing with the subject matter of connection to God. We're dealing with the subject matter of value system. We're dealing with the subject matter of human life, and the here and now and the there and then. We're dealing with all of that.
I like that. That you always say that whenever you're talking about ORUN, here and now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's what I believe, and it's one of the things that even when we were in the process of creating this, we were able to always go back we were always able to go back to that, because even in for example, when we were talking about the sky, I'm like, look, if we're talking about the here and now, we should be able to also capture the element of the here and now. We don't even necessarily need to have that be completely abstract. And I felt like it was something that would add to the work. And you were like, sure, let's, I like that idea. Let's see what it looks like. And what you came up with was absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it was a really, really good process working with you on this. And it's challenged me more to also look to create more, look to look for other, should I say, other topics similar to this that we should capture in art, so that it can foster conversations about the beliefs around that particular subject matter. Like for me, this is something that will hang here in my house, and every time I have guests over or whatever the case may be,
it's always going to raise conversation.
Yeah, it's going to raise conversation. And so for me, that's the full circle moment, because every other time I've looked at art, I've not been able to personally raise a conversation around it, other than, oh, this looks nice.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And that's where it ends. But this will raise a 30-minute or 2-hour. It will raise it will raise timeless.
We have been having discussions.
Yeah, exactly.
About it.
Exactly. It will raise timeless conversations. And for me, that's one of the things that I wanted art to do. I think it's fine if you enjoy art purely for the beauty of it. Absolutely. I do sometimes as well, but I just I personally love deep conversations like this, and it's great to have things to anchor them on. So I am so happy to have this piece here now, and I look forward to the many conversations I'm going to have.
They are going to be endless.
Yeah, with my friends and people in my circle about this. And yeah, thank you for creating it. And yeah, I certainly look forward to you doing more work like this, not only with myself, but even other. One of the things I also hope is this also inspires other people to think, what needs to be created.
Yes.
What needs to be created? What needs to be created?
What concept needs visual representation?
Exactly. Exactly. And we talk a lot about preserving our cultures, preserving our languages, things of that nature. And yeah, so those are, you have a family name that has a deep meaning.
Why not
get with Tyra and create a piece of art around that? And it's something that you hang in your home, and when someone else says, what is that? And then you can go, I'm glad you asked. And they leave knowing more about your history. And I mean, that's...
you've mentioned it, and I'm thinking, imagine the kind of artwork the name Akombi, for example, would inspire. Ashake, Abike,
Yeah,
Abeni.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
exactly. And I would love to see more and more of that. Imagine even just being able to go to a gallery, right, with those types of works just around the gallery. And to be able to have those conversations in that gallery. Imagine being able to take your children who don't understand their
They can
culture,
see it.
and they can visually see these things.
They can see Ashake. They can
Yes.
see Oludumare.
Yes, yes, yes. It's more likely to stay with them. They're more like it's more likely to
Yes.
pique their
Yes.
interest than even other ways
I mean,
of trying to
meeting
communicate
you,
those
I don't
things.
consider it coincidental. I don't consider any event in my
Yeah.
life coincidental anyway. So,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. I have you to thank.
as do I have you to thank as well. So this has really been an amazing process working with you. I'm glad to have this piece, and yeah, I'm excited to do more stuff like this.
I'm always here. Don't worry.
Nah,
I'm
good to
here
know.
for you every
Fantastic.
time, anytime.
Fantastic.
Ẹ ṣé mo
Excellent.
dúpẹ́.
Yeah.
Ẹ ṣé
No,
gan-an.
dúpẹ́, ó ṣé gan.
Dúpẹ́. Whew, okay.